All right. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited that we're having another opportunity to share some stories of plexus health journeys. I'm gonna, hold on one second, I'm gonna mute. Okay, there we go. So I'm Marla Stegman, and I'm a Blessed Sapphire Ambassador with Plexus. I've been with Plexus 6 years, and tonight we have a guest, my friend Carrie Wuollett. She has been with Plexus 4 years. She started with the triplex, which a lot of us started with, 6 months after a year-long intense treatment and surgery for breast cancer. She really reclaimed her health and is healthier now at 42 than what she had been her whole life. She couldn't keep it a secret what was changing with her health, so she started sharing and ended up with an accidental business in her lap. This has become her biggest blessing, and she was able to retire from her 8 to 5 corporate job, and she is now a Ruby and moving into senior Ruby. She lives in Fargo, so I got to meet her last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was in January of 2020, right? Yeah, and she's just a sweetheart, and just so thankful that she's willing to share her heart with you all, us all tonight. So, Carrie, want to get started? Here, hold on. Can you unmute?
Unmute. All right, there we go.
There we go.
1 second. All right, well, thank you, Marla, and thanks for inviting me to be a guest, and hello to so many of you that I've been fortunate to meet and see around town. So I'm excited to hang out with you guys. So like Marla said, this June will be my 4-year anniversary with Plexus, and like she said, I started 6 months after I finished a year-long treatment of chemo and a double mastectomy and radiation and all that stuff. But I started Plexus because my sister-in-law basically forced me. She twisted my arm and said that I need to try this, and she was the biggest skeptic ever. And I was like, oh, well, she's tried this, maybe I should try it. And I actually had a friend share Plexus with me when I was going through chemo, and I thought it was a diet drink, this pink diet drink. And I'm like, why are you trying to give this to me when I am going through chemo? I'm bald, I'm laying in my recliner. What the heck? And I tried it, but I was like, nope, no, thank you. Just trying to survive here. But little did I know how much it would help me going through treatment, and how much of a mess I was inside with all the medication and stuff like that. So I started Triplex, and the first thing I noticed is that I wasn't craving Diet Coke and Diet Mountain Dew like I did 2 or 3 cans a day. That was my go-to. That was my afternoon pick-me-up, along with a trip to the vending machine in the office. Also, I'm like, oh, this doesn't taste that great. And then after that is
Uh-oh, we lost her. I don't know. I had 4 bars, so it must have been hers. So I'm sure she'll pop on in.
She's back in, but we can't hear her.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There, now we can.
I don't know what happened. I'm on my iPad, so let me try that again.
Okay. Yeah, because you froze for a while, quite a while, but I show that I have 4 bars, so I don't think it's me.
Okay. I don't know what it is with our Wi-Fi sometimes. So hopefully it'll be stable.
Okay.
But a few months into Plexus, I was able to transition off allergy meds. That was one of the biggest health wins that I had right away was getting off my daily nasal spray and over-the-counter medication. And I have been off of allergy meds now for over 3 years. And I was on them 10 out of 12 months the year, you know, with dust in the farmer's fields, mold under the snow, all that. I lived on that stuff. So that stuff is gone. I actually have a huge list of everything that I've overcome. So I'll just rattle off my list because it's kind of crazy. And I actually used to have a list like that. You know, when you go to the doctor appointment and you check in and they give you your list of medications. Well, I used to have a page this big of medications that I was taking. And now I have a list of everything that I don't deal with because I'm only on one medication, and that is for my cancer grew from estrogen in my body. So I was put into medically induced menopause at age 37. I'm 42 now, but that was so glamorous going into menopause at 37. Hot flashes are the real deal. So that was my next product I added on with Plexus was X Factor Plus, because I heard that it helped with hot flashes, and it does. So I, before X Factor Plus, I would just be sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden I'd break out into the sweat, like the upper lip, my back would be drenched, all that. Like, it's real. And I don't have that anymore. So again, almost 4 years of no hot flashes. So I'm so thankful for that. I used to be so bloated. I didn't know that magnesium was something that I needed. I would get so constipated, and I know it's not glamorous talking poop, but whatever, everyone does it.
Carrie, we can't hear you again. Carrie, can you hear me? Shoot. And she was just getting into the good stuff. So I'm gonna go downstairs just in case it's mine. I don't think it's mine though, but I'm usually downstairs for our calls, so we'll see after unplug. But we're just gonna, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Plexus, and maybe she can hop back in. Did she go off? She did sign off, so she must be coming back in. So I'll just share kind of what I was going to talk about after she was done, but I'll just share about it now. With Plexus, we are so blessed. It's a debt-free company, you guys. We're an international company. So if you're new or you and haven't been with Plexus before or heard of anything, but we have holistic supplements that address weight loss, gut health, blood sugar stabilization, pain management, holistic skincare also. So we have like 25 products. We specify, we have kids products now too that help with the gut microbiome. We are in, like I said, international. We're in Mexico, Canada, United States, Australia, and New Zealand. Is she on yet?
I'm back. I'm so sorry. I just called in with my phone now. So
okay.
I have cellular and Wi-Fi, and it better not let me down. So I'm so sorry about that.
I've learned you always have to just roll with it when things like this happen. So we are fine.
Oh gosh. Okay. So back to that. I'm just looking at my list here. I used to take 2 Prilosec a day for heartburn, and I've been doing that since my early 20s, and I have since been able to get off of Prilosec. So that is all gone. And I thank ProBio 5 for that. Anxiety, I was on anxiety meds, like a daily anxiety med, and then Xanax, which I called my panic pill. I was put on that medication. My mom died about 8 years ago from ovarian cancer, and going through that with her and then leading into my own cancer, I needed a little help with that. And, you know, I thought anxiety medication would just be my life. And again, I didn't know cleaning up my gut would allow me to transition off those medications. And I've now been off those meds for over 2 years now. And I'm so thankful for that. And again, there's always a time and place for medication, but I didn't realize how much the gut played into, what was going on up in my brain. So I'm super thankful for that. Let's see here. I'm just looking at my list. Inflammation. So let's talk about that. I didn't know, inflammation, didn't know that much. One of the first things, because we live in a selfie world now, so we have so many pictures, and the first thing I saw was my face, like just the difference in that, and my driver's license picture. Oh my gosh, those pictures don't lie at all. And I saw that go away. And then my wedding ring started fitting better. My ankles weren't swollen. I always had swollen ankles. So I noticed that, but something else I noticed and knew that it was really working on the inside is that I've had about 4 follow-up reconstruction surgeries related to my mastectomy since I've been on Plexus. And having had so many different surgeries pre-Plexus, I knew how I would feel with recovery. And that first time you have to get out of bed, and just getting up out of bed after, those surgeries, I felt so much better. And I knew the inflammation was really getting taken care of on the inside because, I had normal aches and pains, but my body did not feel like I was hit by a truck after surgery. So I was like, holy cow, I saw the stuff on the outside, but now this was a true testament to what was going on in the inside. And then, along with all that, this last year, I learned a lot about intermittent fasting, and I added that into my routine with Plexus. And oh my gosh, it has been eye-opening adding that in. One of the last things, so I'm the story with Plexus. A lot of people, we live in this world where people just want to lose weight, and that's, that's how it is. And it's kind of sad. I was the person who maybe lost about 5 pounds over the course of 3 years with Plexus. And that was my last thing. But I had so much healing. Everything I rattled off, what if I would have gave up on myself? And for me personally, intermittent fasting is what my body needed to help with that weight loss, because I gained weight during cancer treatment and being thrown in the menopause. And I was mentally and verbally to myself, hard on myself. But I just kept trucking along because I knew other good things were happening. And then this last year, I added intermittent fasting in with my daily regimen of Plexus, and I lost 28 pounds. And just learning intermittent fasting and how well it works together with Plexus was like the missing link for my body. So I was finally able to have the weight loss story with Plexus. And then just this last fall, I had my cholesterol checked. And again, another thing I inherited from my family. But my cholesterol had also dropped 40 points, and my triglycerides dropped 100 points in this last year. So I was able to add that to my list here. So I was super excited about that. And so, yeah, that was my health testimony. A lot of people, I have quite a list, and everyone is, again, so different with their bodies and things that are changing. But I had a lot of healing that had to happen with everything that I went through. So I'm thankful I was patient and, consistent and never gave up. So, and I will never stop doing this. But with that, I'm someone who naturally shares. If someone's like, oh, I like your sweatshirt, I'd be like, well, it's $15 at Costco, or, eat at a restaurant. You share what you like, whatever. That's just how we are these days. So that's kind of what happened to me with Plexus. I started telling coworkers, they're like, what are you drinking? I'd carry my pink drink in the conference room for a meeting, kind of strategic with that. But anyways, it just led to sharing. And then I was like, oh, there is something more to this. And I had done network marketing in the past for 7 years. It was something where I had to do parties. I had to carry inventory. I had to write up invoices. I had to pay to have a website, and I failed. I didn't necessarily fail, but I didn't make any money out of it. Nothing. I just reinvested it into my inventory. So I was like, seeing with Plexus now, I was like, gosh, I just have to do this. This is all I have to do. This is simple. I don't have to pay all this and do deliveries and parties and all that. So I just kept sharing and I kept learning more about the business and plugging into more things that were going on. And it was 2 years ago, like right about now, my husband and I were looking at options for childcare for the summer. And our kids are at that age where it's like, they don't need to go to a daycare, but they really can't stay home alone. So I was looking at nannies and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, they wanted pretty much my whole paycheck, $20 an hour to watch my kids. So finally it took my husband, who was like, what are you bringing home for Plexus? And I told him, and he's like, well, look at your paycheck you're bringing home from, your corporate job. And I was a senior account manager with health benefits industry. But anyways, I was bringing home pretty much the same amount at the end of the day with Plexus. And he's like, go quit your job. I was like, wait, you said that? So, if your husband says it, then it's totally okay. I was waiting for that. And I always had it in my head too, that I needed to replace my full income before I could quit. But it's like, no, I needed to replace what I brought home. And I had another bonus on top of that because I didn't have to pay for daycare anymore. So that was like over $1,000 back a month. So 2 years ago now this June, I left my job, and it was just a blessing in disguise. I ended up having another reconstruction surgery that I ended up getting sepsis from, and I was hospitalized and I was sick and I had to heal. So I didn't have the burden of worrying about a job. My grandma got sick and passed away, and I had to deal with all that stuff. So it was just like, oh my gosh. And then 2020 happened, and my kids are home every single day, and there's no way I would have been able to handle that. So now I just look back like, wow, thank goodness. And so thankful for this opportunity. And, 2020 was actually one of the best years for my business. Like, it doubled. So I, just count my blessings, and so thankful for this opportunity to not only feel good, but to, help others feel good and share what we have, because we have something special. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell.
That's such a
Anyway,
great story. I just,
thank you.
When we make a plan, God always laughs. That's what I say. Because, just think of the blessings that have come through saying yes, and just everything that's, and now just even the last 2 years, like you said. So I guess I want to find out exactly, you started on the triplex. Which slim did you start with?
I started with microbiome because that's all that we had. So
okay.
that just switched over from the very original flavor. So is microbiome.
Okay. And then your next one was X Factor Plus you added because it helped with your hot flashes.
Yep, I added that. And then I know that I added Vital Biome after that, because then I was like, okay, this is all happening. And now I have this anxiety thing, and Vital Biome. That's supposed to help with that. I also, I swear by Vital Biome and MetaBurn for my anxiety. Like, those two are my go-tos for that specifically.
Yeah, the mental clarity and the calmness with MetaBurn is crazy, isn't it? That it's a thermogenic and it does thermogenic. It gives you energy, but yet it clears your mind. It's kind of hard to explain to people, right?
I think it helps too, like, mom brain, chemo brain, all that. Like, it's real. And I do feel like less of a squirrel if I'm, taking MetaBurn. There's times where I'm like, I don't know if I need MetaBurn. And then I skip it for like a week, and I was like, I can't go without.
And then, okay, so did you add Ease at all? Did you take that?
I use Ease a little bit. Like, for surgery prep, I like it a lot. And for recovery, I also need it really bad when I fly, because I still, to this day, I puff up when I fly. So Ease, like, loading dose is huge for me when I know I have to get on an airplane, because I don't know what it is. So
I do too. I always pop up. Yeah. So then the Vital Biome, do you take one or do you take more?
I usually do one, but a lot last year I took 2 a day. And there are periods where I feel like it's a 2 Vital Biome a day deal. So I do. And then my daughter is 12 and a half, and pre-teenage. Oh my gosh. But I have her on Vital Biome and Pink Drink just because she needs all the hormone stabilization she can get.
And you notice a big change, I'm assuming. That's why she's on it.
I do, as long as she's taking it, because that's a whole nother thing, trying to get her to take it.
Right. It has to be her idea somehow, right?
Yeah, but I have my little guy. My kids both take X Factor, ProBio 5. My husband, he hates popping pills. I hate that he calls it that term, but he is very consistent with active and slim, and he has gout, and his gout stays under control when he's not, or when he is taking active and slim. So I swear by that with like the tart cherry and stuff in the active.
And the
So
turmeric in the active too. Yeah.
yes. So the whole family takes it.
Well, it's interesting you just said that, because I just said this to somebody over the weekend. They called it pills. I hate taking pills. And I said, well, here's what I think. When you call it a pill, I know you don't understand what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get you to understand what's in it so you don't call it a pill anymore.
Right, exactly.
And so it's just that education of what those ingredients are doing. And yeah, does anyone else have questions? I love the question and answer part. Does anyone have questions for Carrie about anything?
I'm an open book, so ask anything.
Carrie, I do.
All right.
Thank you for sharing. I so appreciate it. I am wondering, my dear, so what was the time period of when you started? And I know you had many things going on in your life, to when you started sharing. And then was there a time where you decided to really dive in and work it as a business, or, kind of that part of your story?
Yeah. So I kind of remember by events with Plexus of when things shifted. So I started in June of 2017, and it was probably right after Plexus had their convention. So I missed it for that year. And then, so I went to convention June of 2018, and this is kind of funny. So it was in Orlando, Florida. So first time meeting most of my team. My team is based out of Maine, and everyone's like, how the heck did that happen? But my sister-in-law lives in Maine. So that's how I got connected with everyone on the East Coast. So I go to Orlando, and for those of you who've been to the convention, you can earn prizes and stuff. Well, I go there as a newbie, and I earned the water bottle, like, ooh, plastic water bottle. Yes, I was so excited. Well, then they announced Leaders Retreat, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And it was the cruise. So then we're all like, we're going on that ship. And so in June, I earned the water bottle for convention, and like mid-August, I had earned the cruise for Leaders Retreat. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was a silver who earned Leaders Retreat. And I was so dang proud that I went from earning a water bottle to a fully paid cruise for me and my husband 2.5 months later. And so we were on the cruise ship, and that would have been the fall of 2018. And then I think it was in that winter that I went, in winter of 2019, I went gold. And I was like, I get it. Like, and then I had a friend who was like, what you doing? I think I want to do this. And, so it's taken time, and I've had the ups and downs. I've had health issues. I've had family issues where it's like, oh, I got to take my foot off the gas a little bit, but I always came back, and I always took care of people through it. Even though I wasn't like massively growing, like customer retention is huge for me. My career for 20 years was customer service in account management. So I love now that I get to take care of friends and family versus, a big Fortune 500 client instead. So no matter what is going on in my life, I just do the best I can to take care of everyone and retain them. And yeah, so last year I hit senior gold, and then I hit ruby on Cyber Monday. So on vacation, no excuses. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. Went from a water bottle to winning, or not winning. I earned the cruise.
You earned it. You drew your line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
Yes.
I truly believe if I wouldn't have went to that first convention, I went my second year, and it just totally cast a vision for me. You just, yeah, it's hard to describe.
I was like teary-eyed because I've been to so many conferences for, work and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is different. Like, they truly care about us. Like, I have never experienced this. And, tears are streaming, like, this is legit.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I felt exactly the same. So, yeah. So, does anyone else have any other questions for Carrie? Don't be shy. Okay. So, like I was saying, we have, Plexus is a debt-free company. We have products that are for anybody, really. Gut health is a huge problem and an underlying issue. If you don't get to the root cause, you aren't going to get healthy. You're just putting band-aids over bullet holes. So I hope that you contact whoever invited you to this or to watch this and really dig into jumping in and just giving it a go, working with your sponsor for 60 days. And we do have a 60-day money-back guarantee, but we pray that you don't need it. And, what if this is the answer to your prayers? I struggled with so many things that I just thought were part of getting older. And you don't have to be tired every day, and you don't have to have headaches and crave sugar and feel like crap and be sick. There's a better way. So, and from Carrie's story, we know, how much it helped her after having her, cancer treatments and just what she's gone through. So Plexus is a blessing, and I'm just so grateful that all of you joined tonight. Thank you so much. And thanks again, Carrie. And I'm going to be cheering you on to see Senior Ruby, Carrie. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.